Now boys, you can see x is equal to 9 and x is equal to 7 are the coordinates. You got it. And our next phase is to get the y coordinates. So to get the y coordinates, we have to move on to substitute this value into the equation of a line. So to substitute it into the equation of a line, uh, I will put here y equals minus 2. In the place of x, I substitute 9 plus 26, and then finally it will give us 8. No need to get this one because I already know my y coordinate will come to me 12. This point is already given by the examiner. So hence b coordinate I wanted to find, this is 9 and this is 8. So we are done with the equation of a circle question, which was the fifth question in this exam. Now we move to the question number 6. In the question number 6, boys, it is purely related to binomial expansions. So before solving this question, I want to share with you the technique when you want to find a specific term in the expansion. So guys, as you see, the expression which has to be expanded, yani x over a over x squared, which is given to me, and the power is 7. We all know the power is 7. When we expand it, we are going to get 8 terms, one more than what the power is given. So 8 terms we will get in the expansion. How the powers looks like, and what would be the first power, what would be the last power, and how the powers will be growing. You understand? So I know that I'm gonna get 8 terms: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. I don't know what would be the power. So here I want to teach you the easier way. You have to see what is the power of x given to you. So this power of x is 1. I call it always u. My u is 1. What is the power of x in the first term in this expansion, yani in this bracket? U is equal to 1. What is the power of x in the second term? But for this you need to push it to write it in the numerator. So this is basically not a over x square, this is a x raised power negative 2, because I don't want to write any power of x in the denominator. So for me, this power of x will be called v. So my u is 1 and my v is negative 2. And what is the power I have? It is n. Wallahi, because yani, by using these three numbers, u, v, and this will tell you what will be the first power. The first power is you need to multiply u with n. I call it as nu. So nu will be the first power of the x. So 1 times 7 is 7. So this is nu, and that comes to me 7. So first power will be 7. Next thing is nv. Multiply n with v. So we are getting minus 14. So my last power is nv, which will be minus 14. Now how to write all the middle terms? Simple idea. You have to do v minus u. This will tell you the step. You understand? The constant step, like in a arithmetic progression, you see the same number will be added each time or subtracted each time. So you need to write the step. V minus u, your v is minus 2 and then minus 1. Oh, so your powers will be decreased by 3. So 7 is decreased by 3 gives you 4. And then your next power will be 1. Then your next power will be negative 2. Then next power will be negative 5. Then negative 8. Then negative 11. Then last one is minus 40. So I hope you understand the philosophy behind the powers of x, which I wrote it over here. So let's start. My u is 1, my v is negative 2, my n is 7, and u, I already know my first power 1 times 7 is 7, my last power minus 2 times 7 is minus 14. How the powers will be growing: minus 2 minus 1 is minus, yani this minus 2 minus 1 will be minus 3. So my powers are coming like this in a sequence: 4, 1, minus 2, minus 5, minus 8, and minus 11, and minus 14. Am I interested in all the terms? No, 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 no. I am interested only in the coefficient of x4 and coefficient of x. This is the coefficient of yani the second term will give me the coefficient of x power 4, and the third term will give me the coefficient of x power just x. What is the formula, guys? If I want to write the first term, because my maximum power is yani the whole power n is given me 7, so 7c0. For this one I will write 7c1, for this one is 7c2, this one 7c3, so on and so forth till last 7c7, the Pascal binomial coefficients which we always get in the formula. So I want to get this second term, so this should be 7c, come on, this is 7c0, 7c1. You have to put the two brackets, and now what do you need to write the bracket yani the power here? You have to write always 7 minus 1, yani this minus this, 7 minus 1, and whatever you see here you put it there. So what is the number? 7c1, 7 minus 1, 6, and in here I'm going to write 1. What is the coefficient, guys, of here of x? It is 1 over a. I'm going to write it here. And what is the coefficient of x power minus 2 here? It is a. So this whole thing I have to simplify. So 7c1 from the calculator, it gives me 7. This thing will give me 1 over a6, and this will be simplified a. Can I cancel it with a6? So I will get 7 over a5. So this is the the simplification of the coefficient of x power 4. Can you try the coefficient of x power 1, which is the third term? And how do you write the binomial coefficient? 7c0, 7c1, 7c2. You remember we have to write the two brackets. 7 minus 2, yes, come on, it is 5. Whatever you see here 2, you need to copy it. And what is the coefficient of the first term? It is 1 over a. What is the coefficient of x power minus 2? So that was a. I just copy it from here. When I simplify it, guys, I'm gonna get 7c2, it is equals to 21. 1 over a5 is 1 over a raised to 5, and a squared cancel with this one. So in simplified form, I'm gonna get 21 divided by a3. Now after finding these two numbers, my job is done, everything is calculated. Let's go back. What is the equation given by the examiner to me? The examiner gave you this equation. So the coefficient of x power 4 I have found, it is 7 divided by the coefficient of x4. It is given to me 7 divided by a power 5. And I got 7 over a5, but I'm writing it as 7 divided by a5 over what is the coefficient of x I have found. It is 21 divided by a power 3. Guys, can I change the division signs to the multiplication? So 7, so this division sign will change into multiplication. So a3 goes to the numerator, and this a power 5 goes down and becomes a power 5. Can I cancel them? 7 over 21 gives me 1 over 3, and yani everything is going to be we are going to get what? 1 over 3 a square in the denominator. So this is the thing which we will get after simplification. But he said this is equals to 3. So guys, on the left hand side, when we simplified everything, I got 1 over 3a squared, and he said this thing is equals to 3. Can I just do the cross multiplication? So 1 is equals to 9a squared, and then I bring 9 down. So 1 over 9 is equals to a squared. Take the square root with plus minus signs, 1 over 9, and I'm going to get plus minus 1 over 3. Is he asking values of a or value of a? He's asking values of a. So these both answers are our answers. No answer is going to be neglected. That's the final answer. Now we go to the question number 7, which is purely given in trigonometry concept. So very simple equation is given. So let us revise what the trigonometry concept you have learned. So tan theta is the quotient identity, and this is also given in MF19. Tan theta is equals to sine theta over cosine of theta. So for sure, I want to build a quadratic equation in cosine of theta. Quadratic equation in cosine of theta, for example, I'm writing here x squared minus 3x plus 4 is equal to 0. This equation is quadratic in x. I'm writing here cosine square of x minus 3 cosine of x plus 4. What is this equation? This equation is quadratic in cosine of x. If I want to write cosine power 4x minus 3 cosine square of x plus 4, what is this equation? This equation is quadratic in cosine square of x, because this 2 is going to multiply with 2 to get this power. So some people call them as disguised quadratic equation, but the main thing is whatever is seen here with the smallest power. So this equation is quadratic in that one. And let me write here, for example, x minus 3 square root of x plus 4. Imagine if you remove the square root, it is 1 over 2, and multiply with 2, it will give you 1. So this equation is quadratic in square root of x. So I hope you understand it, what type of equation I am looking at. I'm looking for, after simplification of sine theta over tan theta sine theta is equal to 1, I'm going to build a quadratic equation in cosine of theta. So the first job is I will replace tan theta by sine theta. So sine theta over cosine theta times with sine theta is equals to 1. Come on guys, on the top I have sine theta and sine theta, can we multiply them together? So it will give you sine squared theta. Now what happens to this cosine theta? It will be cross multiplied and multiplied with 1. It will give you cosine of theta. Now next thing is, after using the quotient identity, there is another famous Pythagorean identity, that sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta. This identity is always showing that this is equals to 1. Can I make sine squared theta as a subject? The answer is yes. Then I have to push this cosine squared theta on the right hand side. In the same way, sometimes I replace cosine squared theta by 1 minus sine squared theta. So these two results are the preliminary results of the basic Pythagorean identity. Depends upon your need. So I am needed right now. The whole expression should be converted into cosine form, because I am looking for, as per the instruction of the examiner, I am looking for a quadratic equation in cosine. So I don't want sine at all. So since he wrote here sine squared theta, so what is the replacement of sine squared theta? I should have used Pythagorean identity to write in place of sine squared as 1 minus cosine squared theta. Guys, please be careful, because sometimes students they write sine theta is equal to 1 minus cosine theta. No, there is no relationship like this. We have to have sine squared theta. We can replace it with 1 minus cosine squared theta. Now I'm going to write it here, 1 minus cosine squared theta is equal to cosine theta. We have to write it in a elegant form. So what is the elegant form? So send everything on the right hand side. 0 is equal to minus cosine square will change into plus cosine square when it goes to the right hand side. Cosine theta is already there. I will copy it, and plus 1 also went to the right hand side. Now its sign was plus, now it is minus 1. So it's a purely quadratic equation. Now, I can allow you to use quadratic formula from a calculator, but since this question has 5 marks, it's better to show some skills of quadratic formula. So what is this? This is 1, A is 1, your B is also 1, and your C is minus 1. Don't worry guys, quadratic formula is also given in the formula sheet. So this equation is quadratic in cosine of theta. So I'm going to write here cosine of theta. If it is quadratic in x, you write x is equals to. So this, since it is quadratic in cosine theta, I write cosine theta. Then the quadratic formula is minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Got it? Now substitute the values: minus 1 plus minus 1 squared minus 4, 1 and minus 1 divided by 2. Now I'm going to get my answers in a surd form. So minus 1 plus minus square root of 5 over 2. Oh, cosine theta is giving the answer in a surd form. So either I'm going to get minus 1, 1 root with a positive sign, and the other one I'm going to write it as a negative sign. So guys, I would suggest you use calculator now to see what is this equals to in a decimal form. In a decimal form, this thing is equals to 0.618. 3 yani significant figures, you can write it as 4 significant figures. And this answer, when I simplify it, it gave me the answer minus 1.618. Look at this answer. Cosine theta or sine theta, it is not allowed to have the output of any angle, cosine of any angle, more than less than minus 1 or greater than 1. So because everyone knows cosine theta is a bounded function between minus 1 and 1, and sine theta is also bounded between minus 1 and 1. However, tan theta is not a bounded, it can give you any answer from minus infinity to infinity. So in this question, I have a question mark. However, if a student doesn't know this bounded nature of cosine and sine, he can just write shift cosine of 1.618 and the calculator will give you error. So it means that this is not possible at all. You have to write in the exam that this should be rejected. But look at this one, the cosine theta, it is equal to 0.618. This is the basic trigonometric equation. In a basic trigonometric equation, my interest is my output positive or negative? So my output is positive. Then I will go back and try to recall what the quadrant diagram tells me, which is called ASTC. So ASTC diagram tells me this is my first quadrant, this is my second quadrant, this is my third, and this is my fourth quadrant. If you remember that A and C are the first and the fourth quadrant where cosine gives you a positive answer. So I'm expecting my answer in the first and the fourth quadrant. However, my calculator is capable only give you the answer in the first quadrant. I write shift cosine of 0.618. When I write it, I will get my answer 51.8. Now you can use this quadrant transformation. If you have an angle in x, you want to transform into the first quadrant, you always write 180 minus x. If you want to transform into the second quadrant, you write 180 plus x. If you want to transform into the third quadrant, you write fourth quadrant, so 360 minus x. So I have to use 360 minus x. 51.8. That will give you 308.2. So I got two solutions between 0 to 360 degrees. Is my domain given in degrees or radians? So my domain is in degrees, no worries. So I have also worked in degrees. So the solution of this equation is theta degrees is equals to either 51.8. You remember we always write the degree angles to one decimal place, so 308.2 degrees. Now we go to the second part because examiner has tested on us solving the trigonometric equations, and now he says he gave us an identity, and you need to know the difference between equation and identity. Identity is like a formula where you have to prove the left hand side equals to the right hand side, and it is true for all values of theta. However, equation is true for few values of x, or maybe it can be satisfied for all values, but you know identity is a super equation. It is always equals to left hand side to the right hand side. So I'm going to start from left hand side. So my left hand side is tan theta over sine theta minus sine theta over tan theta. So I have two fractions and there is a minus sign in between. You remember how your teacher is doing the subtraction of fractions. You multiply this cross and you also multiply them. It's an easier way. So sine theta is multiplying with tan theta. Tan and tan, when you multiply them you get tan squared, and sine when they multiply together you get sine squared theta. Now quotient identity comes in action because I have tan. I don't want this tan, so this tan square should be replaced with sine squared theta over cosine squared theta, minus sine squared theta came as it is over sine theta times, what is my tan? The quotient identity says sine over cosine. Now this is the beauty of algebra skills, which I'm going to show you now. What do you see here? Oh, sorry. What do you see here, guys? It's cosine squared theta. And what do you see here? Cosine theta. Can I multiply everything up and down? And up we have two terms, down we have one term. So can I multiply every term with cosine squared theta? So I'm going to multiply every term, yani this term I'm going to multiply with cosine square. I'm going to multiply this with cosine square. I'm going to multiply this whole thingy with cosine square. You will see what the benefit I'm going to get out of that. So when I do this, guys, cosine square cancel with cosine square. This cosine cancel with one of the cosine. Now, can I simplify? So what I'm going to get, guys, I'm going to get sine squared theta minus this thing, sine squared theta cosine squared theta over sine theta, then times. Why not? I can combine them, guys. Sine theta times sine theta is sine squared theta along with the cosine theta, which was left alone there. Now, my factorization skills, I have two terms on the in the numerator. Can I take the sine squared theta common? So if you take sine squared theta common, guys, what is left inside the bracket? Because there is a 1 here. So 1 minus cosine squared theta will be left on the top. At the bottom I have sine squared theta, guys, and I have cosine theta. Am I allowed to cancel? Algebra allows me to cancel sine squared theta with the sine squared theta. What is left to me? 1 minus cosine squared theta over cosine of theta. You remember, guys, this cosine square 1 minus cosine square theta, by using Pythagorean, I did this in the first part when I replaced sine square theta with 1 minus cosine square theta. Now the time has come to replace 1 minus cosine square as sine squared theta over cosine of theta. Once you write this thing, you will feel that now I'm done. So but why not, we can split sine squared theta. Like someone has x square, he can write it as x times x. So I'm going to write sine squared theta as sine theta times sine theta, and you can write cosine under any of the sine theta. So I'm going to write it here as cosine, and here is 1. So what is this, guys, equals to? This is equals to tan theta by using that quotient identity, and this is sine theta, and that is equals to the right hand side. Check it out, guys. It is the same thing which I wanted to get. Now we go to the next question, which is the question number 8, and based on circular measure. In circular measures, guys, um, um, I'm going to read the question for you. He said that the diagram shows the triangle ABC. Okay, so there is a right angle triangle here. Why not? Why not? After reading this, I can write the missing thing. Boys, this is 3, this is 4, this is, if you don't mind, this one I can easily find because it is a right angle triangle. So if it is a right angle triangle, it looks to me, guys, a Pythagorean says I can write it as 3 squared plus 4 squared, which will give me 5. So it means that this DC qualifies as 5. Am I right, guys? So this is 5. So this is the radius, guys. This is the radius, and this is also the radius of this sector. Clear? Why not? I can, in order to find this angle, I can find this angle by using SOHCAHTOA. Any SOHCAHTOA can be used to get this angle, but now, first of all, please, since it is a circular measures, convert your calculator in radian mod. Please do this. Many students, they do the mistakes, they keep the calculator in degree mod and they are working with radians right now. So I want you guys to find this angle. So I'm gonna use tan, guys. Tan is better. So I'm gonna find this x rad. This is tan x rad. Tan x is equals to opposite over adjacent, so any 4 over 3. So x is equals to shift tan of 4 over 3, which will give you guys from the calculator to the 4 significant figures 0.92734 SF. It's better to write it 4 SF so that it doesn't affect your final answer. Guys, you remember in radians, this thing in degrees it is 180, but in radian it is pi. Okay. In radian, in degrees it is 180, but in radians it is pi. So the total is pi. From pi I will subtract this angle 0.9273. When I subtract it, I will get 2.214. In MF19, the two formulas are already given. Look at that, guys. This is yani pizza pastry, like a sector of a circle. This is a radius, this is an arc, this is an theta, which must be in rad. So I'm going to write the area of a sector. I'm talking about area of a sector. Its formula is half r squared theta rad. But if you want to find only the arc length, its formula is just r theta. And both formulas are given in the first page of MF19. So what is the question? We want to find the perimeter. So perimeter is like of the shaded region. So perimeter is, I want to find AB arc. Okay, let me erase everything so that you don't get confused. I want to find AC arc. How can I find the AC arc? Come on, guys. What is the radius given? 5. And what is the theta given? 2.214. This AC, how can I find it? Go back to the trigonometry, guys. In trigonometries, you remember, if this side is known, this side is known, yani the two arms are known and the included angle is known to you, you guys can find opposite by using cosine rule. So opposite is equals to this side squared minus 2 times a times b times cosine of the angle between the two arms A and B, which is theta. Okay, so here the same thing. Be careful, your calculator must be in a radian mod. So I'm going to write here, come on, speak it up. It's 5 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 5 times 5 times cosine of 2.214. So I write it. Now I have to add this result and this result. That will give me the perimeter. So guys, allow Mr. Omar to write the perimeter. Perimeter is the AC straight line chord plus the AC arc. AC direct length comes to me after simplifying 8.9436. I wrote it to the 5 significant figures, be on the safe side. 11.07 of AC arc length, 4 significant figures, so that my final answer will come exact to me 20.0, although it's 20, but I need to write 3 significant figure, 20.0 centimeters for 3 significant figures. So this is the perimeter which I wanted to get. The next question is, examiner will definitely ask you area of a shaded segment. So in order to find the area of the shaded segment, guys, for sure you will tell me that, Mr. Omar, you need to find this yani sector, and then we have to find the triangle to find the area of this shaded segment. So this is pretty simple. Area shaded will be equals to what? Sector. Sector is bigger. I'm talking about ADC sector minus triangle, which is ADC triangle. So what is the formula for the area of a sector? Half r square. What was the radius? 5 square. And what is the theta you found it? 2.214, area of a sector. And what is the triangle area? Yes, very important. Like cosine rule, you need to know whenever you want to find the area of any triangle, you use trigonometry formula of area of a triangle. The two sides must be known, which are called the arms, and the included angle is theta. So you can write half times arm times sine of the included angle between the two arms. That is the area of a triangle formula. So you should also know this, but this is not given in MF 19. So I'm going to write here half times first arm radius, then sine of 2.214. Again, a caution for you, your calculator, please check that you must have R seen on the display of your calculator. Yani your calculator is in a radian mod. So then your answer will become 17.7 centimeters squared to the 3 significant figures. Now we go to the question number 9, which is purely function question. And the function question, it is a quadratic function. Wow, quadratic function, but the domain is less than equals to -1. Why not? To satisfy myself, first of all, convert this form into the completed square form. So may I write it as like this: -3 bracket open squared x minus 0 plus 2. So now it is written in a completed square form. Completed square form helps you to write the vertex of the parabola. The vertex of the parabola, this is 0. I'm going to write here 0, and outside we have here 2. Okay, so may I sketch this parabola? This parabola is facing downward. Can you see your x square coefficient is negative? Whenever the x square coefficient is negative, your parabola is facing downward. So my vertex is where? 0, 2. This is 0, 2, and the parabola will be facing down. Now this, if I draw this parabola, then it means that my domain is set of real numbers, but he is not taking the whole real line. He is taking the values of x which are less than equals to -1. He is taking that. Okay, so let me draw this parabola one more time. A little bit squeezed, it's better, like this, because I want to just show you the significance of -1. Otherwise, any shape, any wider or narrower you can draw. So this is all fine. Where is -1? Actually, I don't know how to put -1 to show it to you. So substitute -1 into the curve. Did you see that? My answer is -1. So at -1, this is -1. You're getting -1. So examiner is taking only this patch. He's not taking the right side of -1. He's taking the left hand of -1. So what type of a curve will be formed in this situation, guys? this type of a curve will be formed. Now I need to erase everything. Look at that. And this part is not included, guys. Only this pink part is included. So my domain is, this is my domain, which is x less than equal to -1. Now I want to see that how much y-axis is consumed. The y-axis is consumed this much. So this is my range, which is less than equals to -1. So range is always written as f of x less than equals to -1. So because he's going down. So it has only 1 mark, I think. Oh, 1 mark. Those students who knows that this thing is always the maximum or minimum, but be careful, examiner has tricked you that less than equal to -1. The sketch will be very, very important for you in this. Maybe later on you can remove it. So f of x range is basically less than equals to -1. I proved it to you guys. I will draw a rough sketch so that it will stay in front of you guys. Look at that. This is -1. It gives you -1, but I was using this patch of the graph, and it gives you how much range? -1 downwards. So f of x should be less than equal to 1, and that domain was this thing. I hope it clears. F inverse. How to find f inverse? We have to write our f of x function again. It gave to us -3x squared plus 2. To write f inverse function, it's better to write y is equals to -3x squared plus 2. I want to make x as a subject, send the things one by one to the other side. I'm going to send -3x squared to the left and y to the right because I want to make x as a subject. So it becomes sorry, it becomes 2 minus y. So x squared is equal to 2 minus y over 3. Then I take the square root. Be careful, guys. Here, the main thing which you need to take care of. Shall we use the plus sign or a minus sign? You remember our domain was what? Our domain was x less than equal to -1. So our domain was going to the left-hand side. So left-hand side, our parabola was going down, right? So we have to take the value of x less than any negative sign. So ignore the positive sign. Ignore the positive sign. Another important thing is you are going to use the left flap of the parabola or a right flap of a parabola. You are using left flap, so you should use the minus sign, but reject the plus sign. Now the time has come to write f inverse of x. So f inverse of x. So replace this y by x because I'm going to use the function in terms of x. So -2, minus, and then I'm writing here 2 minus x over 3. This is my, I want to tell you guys, this is x, I have to write x. If I write here y, I have to write here y. That's why I changed the y to x. So this is my inverse function. Next function is a g function he has given. Guys, it's a different function, but it is still quadratic, and the dome is x less than equal to -1. Wow. Now the examiner says solve this equation. So f of g of x I have to calculate first. So I need to throw g in f. So what is f function? F function, let me copy it again, guys. F of x is -3x squared plus 2. So in f, in the place of x, I have to throw g. So I will write -3 g of x whole squared plus 2. Did you see, guys? This is the f function. In the place of x, I have thrown g. Now what is g I have? -3. What is g? G is given to me -x squared minus 1 whole squared plus 2. And will you allow me to change this minus sign because there is a square? Now I will change all the signs because there is a square to give it an elegant form. Next thing is, guys, I also need g of f of x. What is my g function? Can I copy it? But leave the x empty space. And in the place of x, I will write f of x because I have to throw f in g. So in the place of x, I write f of x. So minus f of x is minus 1. Then guys, I'm ready to write my equation which he has given me in the question. X minus g of f of x plus 8. What did I get for this? I got minus 3x squared plus 1 whole squared plus 2. I already did it. What is g of f of x? I found it was minus 3x squared plus 2 whole squared. I got minus 1 and bracket close, and then we have plus 8 is equal to 0. Now the time has come to simplify my result. Minus 3x squared plus 1 whole squared plus 2. There was a plus sign outside, no change to saying let's change the sign, but here we have a minus sign. It will change both minus signs to plus. So I'm going to write plus minus 3x squared plus 2 whole squared and plus 1, and there is a plus 8 here. Now guys, I need to multiply these two brackets. Yani this will give us, after simplification, x power 4 plus 2x squared plus 1, and this is plus 2 plus, when I expand it guys, I'm gonna get 9x 4 minus 12x squared plus 4, and as you know guys, this is 8 plus 1 plus 2. 8 plus 1 plus 2 will give you what? It will give you 11. Now simplify it further guys. Minus 3x power 4 minus 6x squared plus minus 3, sorry, then plus 9, sorry guys, no need to write plus 2, so just it's plus. And then I'm gonna write here 9x4 minus 12x squared plus 4 plus 11 is equal to 0. It will turn it into a disguised quadratic equation in x squared. So I got plus 12. Did you see guys? I have already told you about the disguised quadratic equation. So this is x squared. I'm gonna solve it from the calculator. It will give me x squared and x squared, two answers. One answer is 1 and the other one is 2. Can you take the square root? So plus minus 1 and the square root of, and that this is plus minus square root of 2. Again guys, be careful. What was my domain in the beginning? The domain was in the beginning was x is equal to -1. I am not allowed to take any positive value, so please ignore, reject x is equal to 1, and here reject square root of 2. So what are your answers? -1, and here x is equals to minus square root of 2. I'm gonna write it here. X is equals to, so these are our solutions or answers. Now we go to that question number 10, which is basically based on differentiation or integrations. The guy has given you dy by dx. Everyone knows dy by dx represents gradient of a tangent. This is called gradient, and he already gave you the gradient minus 3 over 2. So we can put the dy by dx equal to minus 3 over 2. Also, he gave you, there is a point on the curve for which we are talking about 4 minus 1. We want to show that k is equals to minus 2. So do we have any method to show? Yes, we already know that the gradient the gradient is dy by dx. It is given to us minus 1 over 2 plus k, but also he said this gradient is minus 3 over 2. So we put them equals to each other and develop an equation. Just leave it, it's better. Okay, so I developed an equation, and also he gave you the point. Don't forget this point, as the x coordinate has to be replaced here. So 4 raised to the power minus 1 over 2 plus k is equals to minus 3 over 2. when you write it, guys, in a calculator, it will give you 1 over 2 plus k is equal to minus 3 over 2. Bring the 1 over 2 to the other side, so k is equal to minus 3 over 2 minus 1 over 2, so minus 4 over 2, so the answer is minus 2. And this is the thing which I want to show. So right here, shown k is equals to minus 2. Now use this result in our next uh, you know solving. So dy by dx, now gradient, where I found the k, this should be replaced by minus 2 because k is already found. Now I want to find the equation of a curve. So from the gradient you want to go back to the original curve. So this is clearly integration. So y is equals to integration of x raised to power minus 1 over 2 minus 2 t of x. So integration of this thing is what? You know the power rule, plus 1 up and plus 1 down. The integration of minus 2 is minus 2x. Sorry, I wrote two minuses, plus c. To get the constant of integration, guys, we again use the point which was 4 minus 1 given to us. We will substitute it in the place of y minus 1. After simplification, it becomes 1 over 2. This becomes 1 over 2 minus 2. In the place of x, put 4 c, and then you try to simplify. What was the value of x given to me? 4. So when you simplify, guys, this will give you 2, 2, 2, then this 4, and this is minus 8 plus c. Finally, the c will come to you 3. Now, what is the equation of a curve I found? Y is equals to, come on, this is the equation of a curve. I found it, simplified form. Y is equals to 2 square root of x minus 2x plus 3. I substituted back what the value of c I have found it. The other expressions I have already found it, but in a simplified way. This is like simplified, and I got it in this form. Now we go to the C part. Find the coordinates of a stationary point. Whenever you see in the exam stationary point, you have to put your dy by dx equals to 0. So when I put my dy by dx equal to 0, I will get an equation x raised to minus 1 over 2 plus 2 is equal to 0. Simplify it. So 1 over square root of x is equals to minus 2. Can I do the cross multiplication? 1 is equals to minus 2 square root of x. 1 over minus 2 is equal to square root of x. Taking the square on both sides, 1 over minus 2 whole squared is equal to square root of x whole squared. So it will become 1 over 4 and it's equal to x. So x coordinate is 1 over 4. But the examiner is required from you coordinates. So I need to substitute this value into the equation of a curve. So I'm going to substitute now this value of y is equals to 2. In the place of x, I'm going to put 1 over 4 minus 2x in the place of x, 1 over 4 plus 3, and then you simplify and it gives you 7 over 2. So your x coordinate is done and y coordinate is done. So what is my stationary point? My stationary point is 1 over 4 and 7 over 2. I was expecting he's going to ask the d part about the nature of the stationary point. For the nature of the stationary point, we always find second derivative. So we have the first derivative already found, which is x raised to power minus 1 over 2 plus 2. I'm going to again take the derivative, second derivative. Minus 1 over 2 goes back, so minus 1 over 2 minus 1, and the derivative of 2 is 0. So second derivative comes to me minus 1 over 2 x raised to power minus 3 over 2. Which point is to be tested for its nature? So 1 over 4, 7 over 2, the stationary point. So substitute this value of x here. So check what is the sign coming to us, positive or negative. So x, I'm going to substitute 1 over 4 minus 3 over 2 from the calculator. When you simplify, you get minus 4, which is a negative number. So if it is a negative number, you talk in a negative sense. Negative gives you the maximum nature of a point. So this point is a maximum point of the curve. Let's go to the question number 11. Interesting question. And examiner says you have to find the equation of AB. Oh, equation of AB is easy. It's like an IGCSE question. I need to get the gradient first. What is the gradient of AB line? The gradient of AB line is y2 minus y1, yani I have to write 2 minus minus 1 over 5 minus 2. The gradient comes to me 3 over 3, which is 1. So the gradient of this line is 1. I need to find the y-intercept as well. So y is equals to mx plus c. The y coordinate, you choose any of the points. I use a point. So in the place of y, I put 2. Gradient is 1. X is 5 plus c. So c comes to me minus 3. So what is the equation of this line? I found it. Y is equals to x minus 3. Y is equals to x minus 3 is the equation of AB. After doing this, the examiner is willing to rotate the shaded part, not about the x-axis, about the y-axis. Bravo. So how to do this type of a question? Let me erase everything and show you how I'm going to rotate it about the y-axis. First of all, you have to draw the lines where the two, the curve and a line are intersecting. What are the y coordinates? -1 and 2. And then you have to write from, look from this side, okay? So this is upper for you, upper, and this is lower. I'm saying I'm looking from this side. From this side it looks to me upper, and this is lower. Very, very important to know upper minus lower. Yani I need to find this portion, and then I need to subtract this portion. And what is the formula for the volume I have? Guys, volume formula is, in calculus, volume is, you have to write pi outside, the limits very important, and then whatever the function you have to write it under the square, and then you solve the question. Yani function, whatever it is, but don't forget the square on the top. But in case of area, we don't write square. In the case of shaded area between the two curves, what is the formula for the volume? The volume is equals to pi outside AB. I will write my equation of the upper curve. UC means upper curve squared minus lower curve squared. So this is the thing, guys, you have to write in the exam. So when are you using the limits of the y-axis? So first of all, you have to write here dy, and this expression must be written in terms of y, in terms of y. So what is my upper curve, guys? My upper curve is my line whose equation is found by me, y is equals to x minus 3. So guys, don't write y in terms of x. Now you have to write x in terms of y, because you are trying to rotate it about the y-axis. So everything will be used in terms of y. So I'm going to write y plus 3 is equal to x. So this is my upper curve. I'm going to write here y plus 3. So this is my upper curve. Now I'm going to go to my lower curve is given by the examiner. This is my lower curve. Oh, thanks to examiner, he has already written x in terms of y. The lower curve is y squared plus 1. So please let me erase LC, the lower curve. It is what? Y squared plus 1. Bravo. So now I'm going to expand the brackets. Intentionally I will not expand this bracket because this is a linear thing and there is a square. I have a formula for integration which I learned and which is in my course also. So I'm not going to expand it. Okay, although I can expand it, it's very easy for me, but I will not expand it. This one is not linear. Expansion is required. By hook and crook you have to do the the expansion. So do it on the scratch work. Y squared plus 1 whole squared. So this bracket is gonna multiply it 2 times. When I simplify it, guys, I'm gonna get y power 4 plus 2y squared plus 1. So this thing is going to be replaced with y power 4 plus 2y squared plus 1. Be careful, students. You know why? Because I'm telling you there is a minus sign outside, it will change everything inside it. So before doing the integration, why not we can change the signs. So this will become what? Minus y4 minus 2y squared and minus 1. Now I'm ready to do the, oh, I wrote here dx. Don't do this mistake. Everything will be changed. Okay. And I forgot to put the limits, guys. What were the limits on the y-axis? Minus 1 and 2. So the lower limit is minus 1, upper limit is 2, minus 1 and 2, minus 1 and 2. Now I'm going to go do the integration. Ready? Put the brackets, put here upper limit 2 and minus 1. After integration, we will apply the limits. I will use my formula, which I have learned, that ax plus b, if you have a linear factor, if you have a power, you can apply the power rule of integration, which is what? N plus 1 over n plus 1. And also you need to divide with the coefficient of x, which is a. N should not be equal to minus 1. That is an extensive case. Forget about it. Okay. So apply the rule. So y plus 3 raised to power 2, yani 3, sorry, power rule, 3 over 3. The coefficient of x is 1, no need to multiply. Minus integration of y power 4 is what, guys? Y5 over 5 minus 2 as it is. The integration of y square is y3 over 3, and the integration of 1 is y. Now the time has come to apply the upper limit and the lower limit. So upper limit I substitute in the place of x. 2 plus 3 whole power 3 over 3 minus 2 power 5 over 5 minus 2, 2 power 3 over 3 minus 2. So in the place of y, I substituted the upper limit. This case, here you go. 2, 2, 2, 2. Now to write the lower limit, you have, oh guys, write the pi here and pi here. Okay. Now what is my lower limit? Minus 1. So I'm gonna write here minus 1 plus 3 over 3 minus 1 raised by 5 over 5 minus 1 cubed over 3 and minus 1. Now you guys can simplify. Use your calculators. This will give you what? Pi times 419 over 15. And you use your calculator for this. In between there is a minus sign. You get 68 over 15. And then you write this thing in a calculator. It will give you answer 117 pi over 5, or you can write it as in a mixed form 23 whole 2 over 5 pi, or you can also evaluate yani by using 3.142 and multiply it with this value, but it should be 3 significant figures. Don't forget to write cubic units. So that's all with the volume question. So alhamdulillah guys, I'm done, and I hope like this effort of mine will help you to understand the concepts behind solving the past paper. My aim was totally not to solve the past papers. I wanted you to revise the concepts of 9709 pure mathematics. Thank you guys. Inshallah, best wishes for you for your final exams. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.